Hi, this is Robert Mayflower. Hey, it's me. And today's question is, what about the hoax of 2012? Well, it's not exactly a hoax. I mean, I think 2010 is like setting the stage for 2012 and 13, and that 2010, 11, and 12 are like the three temptations of Christ. You know, you can look those up, but the three temptations of Christ, or the 3 degrees of initiation. The transformation of thinking into spiritual thinking in 2010, and the transformation of feelings and emotions into compassion and loving kindness to all beings who live. And then finally in 2012, the transformation of the physical world and this kind of idea of either ecological catastrophe of the death of the air and water and very difficult time to live, and kind of like a voluntary economic servitude taking place, as Abraham Lincoln kind of warned us about. So that's kind of what I'm seeing happening, and I think that it's not exactly a hoax. That what's happening is that spiritual beings and spiritual hearts and spiritual minds are trying to figure out a way that we could all be at peace. And because there's so many violations of respect for each other, the war machine and law and order come in. There would be no use of laws if we all respect each other and loved each other. A Supreme Court justice told me that once, that all laws are made when people violate each other, and they try to make a law so that we won't do that anymore. Now, back to 2012. The idea is that, you know, the galactic center and the winter solstice are all kind of lining up with a big black hole, that so-called black hole, like Vajra. It's a Vajra, like jagged yoni, a Vajra jagged yoni. Blavatsky, I think, refers to it as Jagad Yoni or something, Jagad, the cosmic mother, and that is the vacuum that's at the center of every heart and the center of every star. And there's an emptiness inside each one of us until we all blossom and bloom like a rose with the intelligence of our heart and loving kindness, and the intelligence that perhaps is represented by all the great spiritual traditions and spiritual adventurers. Gandhi, King, all the great musicians and poets and artists, and Blavatsky and Osho and Osawa and Steiner. I mean, these are the great ones. Yogananda, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna. The list is endless. And all the great religious traditions of the Zohar and all the Bibles of the world, and the Rig Vedas, Upanishads, Hinduism, Jainism. It's all good. But unless we prove it by the way we live, there is no God. Unless we prove it by the way we live, there is no spiritual revolution taking place. There's no spiritual reality. My second spiritual teacher said there is no God. At 101 level, there might be a 102 and 103, but at 101 level, there is no God unless we prove it by the way we live. The ultimate conspiracy theory is that the human heart has not fully flowered with intelligence and loving kindness. All other conspiracy theories are shadows. There isn't any human being that doesn't have a divine spark of the sun and the possibility of spiritual awakening. All human beings are divine children of God. Can you, this isn't fortune telling, this is divination. To divine the divine in each other. That's the art and science of spirituality and the Mayflower Bookshop. So, in 2012, there is, a kind of a reckoning with the spiritual and material worlds. They're having like little trouble mixing, And I think if you want to know in yourself, can you enter your dream and make something better happen? Can you enter your dream and make something better happen? Can you watch very carefully what happens at sunrise and sunset, or what happens right exactly at when you're just awakening between sleep and wake, and between falling asleep from being awake? That's the thing I want you to look at, and we'll see you next. This is Robert Mayflower, and I think it's really true. There is something to 2012, but I would start with 2010, 11, 12, and see that as a threefold initiation process. And you can read about that more in Isis Unveiled by Blavatsky. All ancient traditions had 3 degrees to their initiation. You might say it's the sun, moon, and the earth. And of course the earth is the heart. The earth spells heart. And your earth center which we'll talk about maybe next time, is how to breathe into your earth center. The heart is where it's at, the heart that has intelligence. And they discovered that the heart has neural cells, so that the heart is capable of speech and thinking and deeds. This is Robert Mayflower. May your heart awaken today.